Okay, let's talk about the Detroit Lions. I was just out there at training camp watching them for a couple days. It's a fun time. Dan Campbell gave me a hat. It says grit. No kidding, he gave it to me. Lions are 27-7 in the last 2 years. That's the best record in the NFL. 15-2 last year, and what was impressive is Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, the general manager. They really work well together, and they have assembled a very good roster. One thing we know about Dan Campbell, he's aggressive. Probably as aggressive as any head coach. He's going to go for it in critical situations on fourth down. They went for it 33 times last year and made 67% of them. Campbell's got the guts to go for it. They had an incredible 2024 season, 15-2, all kinds of offensive franchise records. But this franchise has to turn the page after a very disappointing 45-31 blindside loss at home to the Washington Commanders. I mean, this was the first time in franchise history they had the number one seed. They had home field advantage. It was a gut-wrenching defeat for the Lions. They've got two new coordinators. Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator, left for Chicago. Enter John Morton. We'll get into him in a second. Defensively, defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn left to become the coach of the Jets. Enter Kelvin Shepard, which we'll talk about in just a second. Keep an eye on the Lions' offensive line, which we will talk about in a couple minutes. Last year, Kevin Zeitler was the right guard. Frank Ragnow was the center. Glasgow was the left guard. Well, guess what? Zeitler's in Tennessee now. Ragnow retired. And now Glasgow moves from guard to center. So they're going to be playing a lot of inexperienced guys inside. That's a big change for the Lions. They drafted Tyleik Williams in the first round, kind of a surprise at defensive tackle. They took Tate Ratledge in the second round, an offensive guard out of Georgia. He might be the opening day starter at right guard. Isaac Tesla, I like that name, big wide receiver at Arkansas. Surprised that the Lions moved up to number 70 to get him, given the fact they have great receivers. They took Miles Frazier, another offensive guard from LSU, a guy that they think can help them this season. Took an edge rusher out of Boise, a safety, and another wide receiver. Keep an eye on Dominic Lovett out of Georgia. He's had a nice camp. They've also brought in a couple free agent players, two linebackers, Zach Cunningham, Grant Stewart, a couple guys that aren't real well-known linebackers, but could help them on special teams and with depth. Keep an eye on Avonte Maddox. He's a guy that could be their third safety, a backup corner. Rock Ya-Sin to add depth in the secondary, and they added Ray Lopez to give them some depth at defensive tackle. The big addition to the defense, however, was DJ Reed, who came over from the New York Jets. He will be the starting corner, in my opinion. But they did lose some players now. We already talked about the two coordinators, talked about Kevin Zeitler and Frank Ragnow, two starters on the offensive line. Zadarius Smith, defensive end, is gone. Two linebackers, Ben Neiman, Jalen Reeves-Maben, no longer in Detroit. Starting corner Carlton Davis is gone. They lost a backup corner, and they also lost a safety, Melifonwu, to the Dolphins. They lost some pretty good players. They also get a lot of injured players back. Nobody was injured more than the Detroit Lions defense last year. But when you can bring back Aidan Hutchinson, premier rusher in football, Marcus Davenport, Derek Barnes, Alex Anzalone, you're bringing back some firepower that can really help this Detroit Lions defense. Remember, the Lions were the 7th-ranked scoring defense last year, minus a lot of their key players, man. It was a credit to them. They showed a lot of grit. You know what I'm saying? They really did. Keep an eye on the Lions this year's schedule. It's a lot different than last year. Their road schedule is really difficult, man. I mean, at Green Bay to start the season, at Baltimore, at Cincinnati where Joe Burrow plays great football, at Kansas City, at Washington, at Philly, at the Rams, and at the Vikings. All these circles are playoff teams. So they got a real difficult road schedule, and they got to go to Chicago in the cold weather against their old offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson. There's a lot of exciting issues ahead for this Lion team. But remember the grit factor, man. The Detroit Lions, I would like to star this category. They have a great special teams coach that nobody talks about. I mean, the offensive coordinator gets a head job. The defensive coordinator gets a head job. How about Dave Phipp? Dave Phipp, he's a friend of mine. They have Jake Bates, comes out of nowhere as their field goal kicker, starts off and hits 19 in a row. No one has walked into the NFL and made 19 straight field goals like Jake Bates did. This guy's a brick salesman. He gets off of the counter selling bricks and comes in there and makes 19 straight field goals. No shit. That actually happened. The guy goes 26 for 29 and hits 64 for 67 PATs, and he hits 3 game winners, and he breaks the Detroit Lion record for 142 points in a season. That's good coaching. And their punter, Jack Fox, broke a freaking NFL record with a 46.2 net punting average. That's Dave Phipp, his specialists, and Khalif Raymond, averaged 13.8 yards per punt return. The Lions have a great special teams unit, and Dave Phipp is the special teams coach. Last thing, let's get to know John Morton, the offensive coordinator. He worked with me, back in Oakland and Las Vegas. This guy's a worker, man. He's an excellent game planner. He can design cool plays. He'll break tendencies. He takes all this data. He can shorten the stack and give you what you really need to call the plays on Sunday. This guy was the pass game coordinator of the Denver Broncos. And remember, Bo Nix as a rookie, 29 TDs, 376 completions, almost 4,000 yards. This guy's a really good offensive coach. Was the coordinator of the Jets. John Morton was with Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson in 2022. He helped install and implement the system. They still have an excellent line coach in Hank Fraley. They still have Scotty Montgomery coaching wideouts. They still have Tashard Choice coaching running backs. And they still have Mark Brunell coaching the quarterback. So he is there. He's been there. He's got a lot of continuity. And Kelvin Shepard is the new defensive coordinator. He's only 37 years old. I saw him on the practice field. He is a bulldog, man. He's in your face all the time. I like this guy, man. 37 years old. Played linebacker for Lou Anarumo at Miami. Played for Steve Spagnuolo as a New York Giant. Those are the guys that have impacted his career, and he's been with Aaron Glenn and Dan Campbell for some time. They have been preparing him for this opportunity. Shepard and Morton, 2 good on the rise coordinators. Don't forget Dave Phipp, the special teams coach. Let's get on to the Lions. All right, let's get into the Detroit Lion offense. This is my favorite offense to watch, honestly. Sometimes I'm in my house and my wife says, "What the hell's wrong with you?" I said, "I'm watching the Lions on offense." Man, are they exciting. They get me going. They're productive in every situation. Second in total yards, 409 a game. First in scoring, 33 points a game. Sixth in rushing. Second in passing. Number 1 in time of possession, man. 32 minutes and 15 seconds. That sure helps your defense because they don't have to play. And then over here, they're the number 3 red zone touchdown team, almost 70%. And on third down, they're 4th in the league at 48%. So they have function at a high level statistically everywhere. It's a credit to them. They got a new offensive coordinator. We talked about it. Johnny Morton. He'll install the plays. He'll call the plays. He'll create the plays, and he'll motivate the players. The guy's a veteran. He'll do a good job, I think. This is a balanced offense, man. They can run it and throw it. The ball distribution is incredible. You got to stop all 5 eligibles because they all have great production. They also use a lot of motion. Why so much motion? It helps Goff read the coverage. It helps these receivers get releases into the secondary. And it forces rotations by the defense a lot of the times. Write these 3 letters down, RCE. Those are the 3 letters that Detroit lives by. Recognition. Goff, the offense. They recognize the defense, and then they communicate plays to rip that defense, man. And it leads to high levels of execution. RCE. You'll hear that all the time in Detroit. And that 3-letter category summarizes Jared Goff. I mean, he is awesome at the line of scrimmage. He'll use a lot of different snap counts. He's in a research phase. And when he gets the information he needs, he puts the Lions in optimum play selection. It is awesome, man. They have two distinct badasses in the backfield. I was there in Detroit watching Gibbs and Montgomery. They are completely different backs, and they're both complete badasses. And they can run the ball inside, outside, toss, you name it. Wham plays, trap plays, they got it all. And when they get their running game going, the play action pass is deadly. 37% of the Lions' passes are play action passes, man. And it's really effective because of these two running backs. They have a great under the center offense. Goff gets underneath the center, and it really helps their running game. They do a great job helping these backs by getting them deep in the I formation so they can read their cuts on the way to the line of scrimmage and create some force as they attack the line of scrimmage. They run a ton of inside breaking routes, a ton, and they're really good after the catch, every one of these Lion receivers. They go for it a lot on fourth down. And it's well communicated by Dan Campbell and the offensive coordinator during the week. They don't just show up on Sunday and go, hey, go for it. No, they don't do that. They know before the game, we're in 4-down territory this week, 4th and 3 or less, maybe in this field position. But they really calculate it, and they have the guts to go for it. I love it. They use gadget plays. You'll see offensive linemen catching passes. Let's see if that continues under John Morton. Certain coordinators like me, I didn't use a lot of gadget plays. I didn't have imagination, I was kind of boring. I was kind of dull, I heard a lot about that shit too. It pissed me off. Anyways, they're very creative. They use bunch formations, compressed sets, and what I love about the Lions is they have a great route tree. You're going to see some of their receivers run spray releases from tight splits. They have different bunch stacks. They got vertical routes, double moves. I love them because they run routes. It's not a RPO bubble screen every play like a lot of this offense I see these days. Anyways, they got versatile players that can do a lot of different things. They use a ton of personnel groups, 2 halfbacks, 1 receiver, 3 tight ends. They got 3 receiver sets. They got it all, and they're not afraid to call it. Now, Jared Goff is the centerpiece of this offense. He is unbelievable. He was on Gruden's QB class, years ago coming out of Cal. I call him the shredder. This guy is great. He has continuous movement in the pocket. I mean, he's like a boxer in the ring with the ball. He's moving around. His feet are always active. He does an excellent job under fire, man. I mean, this guy gets hit more than any quarterback in the NFL. I'm telling you. He'll stand right in there and look down the gun barrel, boom, and throw strikes. He is a fearless, athletic, quick pocket passer. I love watching Goff play. Accuracy, anticipation, awkward arm angles. He thrives more than any other quarterback, arguably, in those categories. He makes you a great play caller. You know what? If I call a play that's got no chance, a weak side run into a weak side blitz, he ain't going to do it. He'll recognize it and call a play that's better. He'll fix my problems, and then he'll make plays with the ball. He is a coach's freaking dream. They do a lot of audibles and alerts at the line of scrimmage. He's a great communicator, and he is a hell of a leader. I was watching the Lions practice. You got guys standing out there like Malasek, and Clay Myers, just, As soon as Goff walks in the huddle, everybody's on their toes, man. The guy has the magic about him. I love it. He reminds me of Joe Montana. That's right, Joe Montana. This guy threw for 72% career year last year, 4,629 yards, 37 touchdowns, 8.6 yards per pass. That's insane, man. He's the 5th quarterback ever to throw for over 4,500 yards, 70+% completion, and 35 or more TDs. 5th ever. That's the kind of rare air we're talking about with Jared Goff. Last thing on Goff. If you're a defensive coach and you play man-to-man against them, you're probably going to get sliced up really bad. Against man coverage, 71%, 20 touchdowns, no picks. Since 2021, he's had 3 seasons of 10 or more touchdowns and no picks against man coverage. So would you play man or zone, Jake? What would you do?
Zone.
Hey, you're a heck of a guy, Jake. Good job. Play zone against them. He did have 12 interceptions against zone last year. But keep an eye on the backup quarterback for the Lions. What if we have to play another quarterback? Hendon Hooker's coming into his 3rd year. I haven't seen anything of Hooker yet. I saw an interception in a preseason game last week in Canton. Teddy Bridgewater came into some games last year. He's not there anymore. We got to keep an eye on Hooker during the preseason. Can the Lions function if something ever happened to Goff? The running backs, Sonic and Knuckles. Well, Sonic is Jahmyr Gibbs. Knuckles is David Montgomery. This is a football team that rushes for 146 yards a game, and they will sting you, man, running the rock. Since 2003, the Lions are the #1 running offense production-wise. Almost 6,000 yards and 37 touchdowns between Sonic and Knuckles. No one's even close. These guys are really good, and they're good together. They're the only team in the NFL that have 2 backs with over 750 yards rushing and more than 12 rushing touchdowns. Be alert for what I call rocket backs. They might play both of these guys together at the same time. Gibbs can block for Montgomery. Montgomery can block for Gibbs. Both can catch. You can line them up in the backfield together. You can get into a single back set. You can even line them up empty. These guys are jokers. They're good in any formation, and they're really good together. Jahmyr Gibbs, 1,412 yards rushing, 517 yards receiving. And when Montgomery got hurt, he proved to me he's an EDB. What's an EDB? An every down back. He can do it all. You got to see him pick up blitzes and chip and pass protection. He's detailed. Tashard Choice, the running back coach, does a great job. But Gibbs has skill. He can do it all. And averaging 5.9 yards per carry, that's amazing. David Montgomery, he is Knuckles, man. He is vicious. Over 2 yards after contact, man. He got hurt last year, but I saw him live about a week ago in training camp, and you notice when he hits the hole, man, he is a punishing big-time back. I love the 2 backs. At wide receiver, they have some highly decorated players, and if I were a young receiver, I would go buy an Amon-Ra St. Brown jersey. This guy is like Tommy Hearns, the old welterweight fighter from Detroit, man. This guy will kick your ass, man, in a running game. His work ethic is unmatched. I saw him. They talk about him catching all these balls before practice. I came out there early, and all I heard was boo, boo, boo. I turn around, it's Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's like a freaking, I don't know, he's like a vacuum cleaner. I mean, shit, he could catch the ball anywhere. This guy is the go-to guy. Amon-Ra St. Brown on draft day is sitting there and watches 16 receivers go ahead of him. You think that pissed him off? Yes, it did. And now he's the only receiver in pro football that has back-to-back 100-catch, 10-plus touchdown seasons. Not only that, I think he's better without the ball than with the ball. This guy will block your face off, man. He blocks like a tight end. He is a great competitor, very quick. And when you look at his targets and catches, he's the #1 catch rate per target in the NFL in the last 20 years. He does it all. He, after the catch, can hurt you. He can get in and out of his breaks and create separation. 115 catches, 1,263 yards, 12 touchdowns. Knock on wood if you're with me. That's a badass. Jameson Williams, I think, finally came into his own last year. He's had some suspensions. He missed some time his first couple years, but he broke out last year. 58 grabs, 1,001 yards. And this cat had really improved after the catch. I think this year with John Morton, you might see Jameson Williams on the numbers running more red line go balls. This guy can really be a force down the field. Tim Patrick was their 3rd receiver. Quietly, 33 catches, almost 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. And then they go trade up this year to take another wideout, like they need another wideout. They bring in this Isaac Tesla guy from Arkansas. I was standing next to him. I'm like, God dang. 6'4", 215 pounds, ran 4.43, 82 catches, 1,000 yards. He was a single wing quarterback in high school. He hasn't even scratched the surface yet. They also have Khalif Raymond, who's a gadget guy. Jet sweeps, punt returns. This guy's a really good player. And keep an eye on this Lovett guy.
I look different. I play different.
Boxing's the Wild West of sport.
This isn't a normal world.
Winning doesn't happen by accident. Winning becomes a lifestyle.
Volleyball here is a state treasure.
Representing Nebraska has meant everything to me.
We were the greatest defense ever to play the game.
We've given them an opportunity to dream.
Dominic Lovett. He was a 7th-round pick out of Georgia. He's wearing 19. He's pretty cool. He's got some really good in-and-out quickness. Tight end is Sam Laporta. He was hurt a little bit last year. I think it restricted his statistics and his production, but he still had 60 for 726, 7 touchdowns. He is versatile. What a pro football player. You talk about a guy that's detailed. He's on time. He sets people up. He reads coverage properly. I love him. And Brock Wright, number 89. I put GG next to him. That's a Gruden grinder guy. I love the guy. He doesn't have any ego. He'll go in and block on these play action passes. He'll do a great job whamming on the traps. This guy does a hell of a lot of good stuff for them on special teams. Brock Wright, give me 3 of those on my team. And they use a lot of extra offensive linemen. Over 70 snaps, you'll see a guy like Skipper, 6'10" left tackle, come in and play tight end. They use a lot of jumbo 6 offensive lineman formations, so keep an eye on that with the tight ends. Lastly, we got to talk about the O-line transition. To me, this is a big deal if you're a Lion fan. We're going to have a new opening day starter at left guard. We're going to have a new opening day starter at center, and we're going to have a new opening day starter at right guard. Ratledge, the rookie Tate Ratledge from Georgia, should start at right guard. We'll see about him. He has no skins on the wall. I don't see any. And Glasgow moves from left guard to center. He played a little bit of center last year, but he is 33 years old, I think. And now you're a full-time center. That's a tough-ass job, man. Let me tell you. And over here at left guard, Christian Mahogany. 6th-round pick 2 years ago from Boston College. He's wearing number 73. You better keep an eye on these 2 young guards and a new center because Jared Goff throws from right here every play. You guys understand that, don't you, Jake? You're a heady guy, Jake. Left tackle Taylor Decker. He's 32. He's had a lot of injuries the last couple years. Who's the 3rd tackle? Is it Dan Skipper? Is it this Giovanni guy that they drafted as a prospect a couple years ago? Who the hell's the 3rd tackle? We know Sewell is one of the best at right tackle. But keep an eye on the interior of the Lions offense and the health of Taylor Decker. This is paramount for this Detroit Lion offense. A lot of firepower. I know it's a lot of information, but I told you I love studying these guys. Okay, the Detroit Lions defense has a new leader. Kelvin Shepard becomes the defensive coordinator. He's 37 years old. He was a linebacker in the NFL from 2011 to 2018. He played for the Giants. He played for the Dolphins. He played for a lot of teams. He was the linebacker coach for Aaron Glenn last year, but when Glenn left for New York, Shepard has become the guy. He's been with Campbell from the beginning. There's a lot of trust and confidence there. They also added a really good defensive line coach, Casey Rogers. He's a friend of mine, you know. He was the D-line coach here in Tampa with the Buccaneers. He's been a defensive coordinator. He's going to be the run game coordinator. He's going to do an excellent job. He's been with Todd Bowles for a long time. They also kept the Shea Townsend. I think he's an excellent young secondary coach. So they have a good brain trust on defense. I think they all need to know we're going to rev up our rush. We got to get to the quarterback more. They only had 37 sacks last year, and a lot of it had to do, obviously, with the injuries they had. I mean, Aidan Hutchinson got hurt in week 5. Davenport was gone. Marcus Davenport didn't get anything with injuries last year. Derek Barnes was hurt. Aleem McNeil got hurt in December. Onwuzurike, he got hurt. They had a lot of injuries which really hurt their pass rush. When you watch Detroit play last year, they led the NFL 37% blitz. I think a lot of the blitzes were called because of the injuries that affected their pass rush. They also led the NFL in man coverage. I mean, this team plays a ton of man coverage. And it's probably because they were blitzing a lot, trying to get pressure on the quarterback. Will these numbers continue? I don't think so. I think they'll be slightly reduced. The big thing with the Lions, I think, as we get ready for the 2025 season, they're going to see a lot better quarterbacks this year than they saw last year. You're going to see Joe Burrow. You're going to see Mahomes and Matt Stafford. You're going to see Lamar Jackson. Then you got to go see Daniels from the Commanders. You saw him in the playoffs. Jalen Hurts and the world champions. And then you got to see Ben Johnson, your former offensive coach, with all these plays and bells and whistles. You got to see that outfit twice. So they better be ready. And I know Dan Campbell, Kelvin Shepard are getting them ready as we speak. The defensive line, I think you got to just focus on the D-line for 2 or 3 minutes. Remember, Aidan Hutchinson, number 97, is back. Broke his leg in week 5. The guy had 7.5 sacks in 4.5 games. The guy was going to be arguably the defensive player of the year. They get him back. His motor, his production, his violence, his leadership fuels Detroit. The whole city loves this guy. Hell, I met him. I love him too. He reminds me of Max Crosby. He's just got that motor. He never quits. But you get Hutch back, which is huge. You get Marcus Davenport back. He tore his triceps out. That's a first-round pick. The ex-New Orleans Saint, ex-Minnesota Viking. Getting those 2 defensive ends back is huge. And then Derek Barnes, who's listed as a strong side linebacker, he's also a situational pass rusher. They missed him almost the whole season. So getting those 3 guys back is huge. They also used Trevor Nowaski. This young guy, number 53 from Saginaw Valley State. He comes in games last year. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? He comes in there. I think it's Hutchinson. He did some really good things. He's a high-effort backup player that I like. And Josh Pascal, number 93, he's back as well. So they do have some depth and some real firepower coming off the edge. Now, at defensive tackle, we got to keep an eye on Aleem McNeil, number 54. I don't think he's going to be ready until early in the season, maybe mid-season if you ask me. But keep an eye on number 54, Aleem McNeil. He's a badass. He's a great player. I don't think he's going to be ready to start the season with that knee injury he suffered in December. But they do have DJ Reader. I said hi to DJ Reader when I was in Detroit. Good God, is he a monster? He is really big, a great run defender. And they drafted Tyleik Williams from Ohio State with their first-round pick. A bit of a surprise. 328-pound man now. And I know Brad Holmes, the general manager, he sees a lot of Aleem McNeil in Tyleik Williams. Agile, space eater, strong hands. I mean, this guy's a power player, and they like that in Detroit. Didn't have a ton of production at Ohio State. I thought he was a little heavy, just 2.5 sacks, 46 tackles. But if you single block him in a running game, you're not going to run the ball for very much. This guy's a good run defender. Reader and Williams, I think, will be the opening day starters. They added Ray Lopez in free agency. I believe he was with Arizona. Not a lot of exposure, but a pretty solid NFL veteran. And then you look inside, where's Mekhi Wingo? He's another backup player that's nursing an injury coming back from last season. So they need a little bit of depth inside. But the D-line is a huge, huge area of concern. They need this group to get to the passer. At linebacker, Jack Campbell is the guy.
My work is easy because I use ClickUp. Here's how I keep track of all my tasks. I start by brain dumping everything I need to get done. And
he's the middle linebacker. He wears the green dot. He's the quarterback of the defense, man. He recognizes offensive sets. He really helps the Lions do a great job finding the football. He's really improved in coverage as well. He always is around the ball. I love his effort. He led the team last year with 131 tackles. I think Campbell is really on the rise in becoming one of the top middle linebackers in the game. Alex Anzalone's a personal favorite of mine. He only played in 10 games last year. He was hurt. He's 30 years old, but when he plays his ass off, man. 63 tackles, 7 TFLs. His play speed, his instincts, his playing style, man, it's like, that's how you want a linebacker to play, man. I was out there in Detroit hanging out with Chris Spielman, their old linebacker, watching football, and I could just tell Spielman liked him too. So I'm not alone in my evaluation. Take that, Detroit fans. The other guy is Derek Barnes, who we talked about. Strong side linebacker. He sets the edge in the running game, man. He can rush the passer. He can beat a tight end up. He can beat a tackle. He can pulverize a running back. 81 tackles in 2023. They missed him all last season, and he's a very good situational rusher. He is a good player. Barnes, Anzalone, and Campbell give Detroit 3 solid linebackers. But again, I'm an owl. Who's the backup, man? Who are the backups? They lost some players. Malcolm Rodriguez is a good backup, but I think he's still injured. Don't know when he'll be back. He's solid. They added Grant Stewart in free agency. Let's see what happens in the preseason. Zach Cunningham, old Vanderbilt Commodore. You know, he's been around Houston, some other places. He's flashing, man. He's making some plays. He might be in the mix to really help Detroit. And then in the secondary, you ever heard that song, Rock City? Rock City? That's what I think of when I watch these 2 safeties for the Lions. I don't really like Brian Branch and Kerby Joseph. I love Brian Branch and Kerby Joseph. It's like Rock City, man. The Rock finds these guys. Kerby Joseph had 9 interceptions last year. Nobody knows it. He led the NFL. Since 2000, let's just say this, nobody has come into the league 3 straight seasons and had 4 or more interceptions except for Ed Reed and Kerby Joseph's. Does that make any sense to you? This is a badass, man. He just signed an $86 million contract, you know, because he's the best. This guy's an eraser tackler. If somebody breaks out of there, he gets them on the ground in a one-on-one open field situation. He can play red line to red line, meaning you're back here in the post. I can haul ass over here and make a play on this red line, or I can haul ass over here and make a play on that red line. The red line is a line on the field about 4 yards from the sideline. This guy's got range, you know, and he's got ball skills. He loves football. This guy's a certifiable great player. And Brian Branch is right there with him. He was a second-round pick out of Alabama. I remember him coming into the league. I think he played mostly nickel. But now he's playing safety with Joseph. Last year, when all the injury had occurred, he went and played nickel. He could play free safety, strong safety. He's a Pro Bowl player. He's a hell of a player. This guy here has 8 tackles for loss. He is an excellent coverage man, and he too has great ball skills. But who's the third safety? Concern yourself with the depth of your football team this time of year. Who's the next linebacker? Who's the third safety? I don't know. Alante Maddox, free agent guy they picked up? Is it Dan Jackson, who they took in the 7th round? Who is the third safety for the Detroit Lions? We've got to keep an eye on that. And at corner, I love the emergence of Terrion Arnold. I think this guy's going to be a superstar corner. I watched the Lions. I just saw this guy out there. He's got long arms. He's got great length. Great looking guy. I didn't know he was that big. But this guy has so much confidence and savvy, it's ridiculous for a 22-year-old guy. I mean, he played 325 snaps of man-to-man coverage as a rookie. That's unbelievable, man. Most of the time you have a rookie just kind of roll up, play in the flat, you know, maybe make a tackle. This guy, he has 7 PI penalties. That's what everybody says, because everybody's looking for the negative out there. But a lot of those penalties were early, and a couple of them might have been bullshit calls. This guy's on the rise, man. And he's going up against Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams every day. He ain't backing down. I think this guy's emerging. They also added DJ Reed from the New York Jets. They lost Carlton Davis. I think they might have gotten better with DJ Reed. Here's another guy that had 7 PIs. That doesn't mean they were good calls, by the way, because you know some of these referees, they need to be yelled at quite a bit. But DJ Reed, he was playing opposite Sauce Gardner. So he saw a lot of action, man, and he don't back down. This is a tough-ass guy. That's why they gave him $40 million. 2 good corners and my good friend, Amik Robertson. Look at that photo right there, the ex-Raider. I drafted him. He's their nickel. He's a hell of a player, man. He can cover. He's not afraid. He's not the biggest guy, but he plays big. That's what matters. But again, who are the 4th and 5th corners of the Detroit Lions? Is it Rock Ya-Sin, a free agent acquisition? Is it Khalil Dorsey? I don't know. They got to find depth at corner. They got to find depth at safety. They got to find depth at linebacker. The Lions have some healthy studs returning, but they got a tough slate. There's some great quarterbacks coming to look for them. It'll be fun, man. You know, the Lions have an excellent under-the-center offense. Runs, play-action passes, and Jared Goff does a great job recognizing the front. They get a lot of what I call premier looks from defenses. A 3 technique on one guard, an outside shoulder, an inside 1 technique on the other, a 1 and a 3, and 2 loose defensive ends, 2 linebackers, and a split safety coverage to stop Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown. They got to stop the Lion pass offense. They get a lot of premier looks. And we already said they use a lot of motion. They love to put Jamison Williams in fly motion. It's at warp speed. It's so fast you can barely see it. And defenses have to bump linebackers. So you might get a nickel back bumping in to play linebacker. A strong backer becomes the weak backer. The weak backer becomes the nickel. And it's a premier 6-man box with a 1 technique and a 3 technique. And the last thing you're thinking of is Jahmyr Gibbs running a wham. But because of that 3 technique, that center can get right up on that play side backer and bust him on the second level. They tell the right tackle, you got a perfect angle to block out on the defensive end. But it's the backside that I love. I call it a club scheme. The backside left tackle, you'll see Taylor Decker take a perfect angle to cut off that linebacker. And over here, the left guard, who's going to be probably mahogany, he'll stab that defensive tackle with his inside arm, and he blocks out and traps that defensive end. It's like, I fooled you, bam! He hits the defensive end. Then you'll see the right guard, the rookie, Tate Ratledge. He'll trap the backside 1 technique. And here we go. We get Sam Laporta, or it could be Wright, their other tight end. He whams the 3 technique to defensive tackle. They trap the end, trap the 1, trap the 3, and here goes Jahmyr Gibbs against the premier look. Just watch the Green Bay game. You'll go, oh, God. They're tough, man.
Bookie's 7 Secrets. It's changing the game. Free download. Limited offer before the season starts at odds911.com.